What's going on, guys? T90XVI with more WSVG action, and I'm excited for this one. Have two great players, which is why I wanted to show you this one.
Monday?
Currently, the series, I am obviously showing games that are best of threes, best of fives. This one is a best of five, and is between Juan and Stark. And currently, it is 2-1 with this one in the favor of Juan. Juan, it's Juan, but I was saying one. But anyway,
Monday?
here in the pink, playing as the Spanish, we have Juan, and over here we have Stark, and both of these players are 2K plus on Voobly, so I knew the series was going to be entertaining, and like I said, currently, though it's been entertaining, Juan is in the lead, so I'm excited. Now, this map is rather interesting. If you take a look, well, first of all, the name of this map is called Raft, and much like rivers, there is only one crossing in the middle here. Could easily be walled off by both these players. And then there is a little bit of fishing, not much in the way of deep fish, deep shore, deep tuna and things of that nature. But there's gold around the sides of the map. You would have to transport to get that. There's wood around the sides of the map. And there's not much wood in the middle that is worth gathering. Now, probably not going to see players transport to the sides to get wood because this wood is enough that they can last. But is a lot of resources in the late game, at least, if this gets to the late game, to go to the sides of the map. Also, the reason I like this map is because, sure, these players are probably going to wall off and try and control the water. However, it's so close to the enemy side that we'll probably see a landing of some type, which is rare in water maps. So it got me so excited that I knew that possibility was there. So Juan, well, he's here in the pink, and he does have some fish in the back, some tuna in the back that he would be able to gather from. Over here in the back as well, from Stark, he actually has water around the entire back of his map, which is a little bit different than what Juan has. So he's going to be able to gather some deep fish, a little bit more so than what Juan can. So Stark's probably going to want to get the water control even more so. And you'll see these guys, Stark, for example, has 5 on wood right now. So that means he's going to be wanting to get a dock up. Meanwhile, over here, pretty much at the same time, they're bringing in their boars, and they both have 5 on wood. So these guys know what they're doing, getting their builds up properly, and doing all the important things. So I am interested to see what will happen. Now, guys, I've been talking a lot, but, you know, that's kind of comes along with commentary. And I wanted to just say, if you guys weren't aware, I want to thank you for for all the support I had on Reddit the beginning of, or the middle of this past week. I was #1 on AoE2 Reddit, which brought in a lot of views on my Viper video. And it brought me a lot of support as well. And even some haters, which, I mean, you're doing something wrong if you don't have haters, right? So that was awesome. I was so hyped. I'm still so hyped about that happened. I don't even use Reddit, like, because people argue on Reddit, and I'm not a big arguer, not a big trash talker. And so I was just so surprised. I got on Steam to play some CBA with my friends, and he said, "You know what? That's so cool that you are #1 on Reddit right now." And I said, "What are you talking about? You're crazy." And so turns out I was, and it was pretty cool. And it was all due to Viper's amazing micro. And wouldn't you know it, the Viper on his Facebook called me out and said he recommended my channel. He recommended my channel, and that was the next day. So that was pretty cool. The Viper, if you're out there, dude, thank you so much. And everyone else on the Reddit community, thank you so much as well. I have big plans for this channel, and I can only do it with your support. So, Juan, surprisingly not clicked up to the Feudal Age yet. Meanwhile, Stark, he's already on his way up on 25 population. So if these guys are going to be trying to win the water, you're going to want to... Normally, you'll see players go up a little bit earlier. Juan, though, he's not doing that. He's already walled off. And it's going to be hard for him to win the water if he's not in the Feudal Age. However, Dock is on the back for him, and he has many fishing ships. So he's going to have some time to get some galleys around. And that's probably what he's banking on at this point. meanwhile, he's still not clicked up, which is very, very interesting. And he's struggling to get the food in, it looks like. He's gathering his remaining sheep. Was he able to get the deer in? No. These are probably going to have a hard time luring, and it's not often you see pros do anything but lure deer. They don't mill deer because a mill is a complete waste. And it's probably going to click up once this villager is finished up here at 35 population. And getting loom as well. Not even up. Stark, on the other hand, trying to pick a villager off and almost doing so with his scout there. Scout's going to go down, though. But he's on 2 docks already, getting the galleys out. So, interesting differences in play, which completely excites me because that means the water play has been completely different right now. Juan is changing things up. Now, these villagers on berries going to have a hard time collecting for sure. And Juan, or Stark rather, seems to be gathering these shorefish before he sends these villagers back, which is smart to do. These shorefish are really, really strong. As far as able to be gathering, it's really, really important that you get them if you can. Interestingly enough, we have Stark making a transport right off the bat, and that's exciting stuff. We also have both these guys going to stone. Now, if you were to ask me why are they going to stone, well, they're Spanish right now, and I would assume they're going to want to get a castle out and make some conchs in the castle age, which means these guys aren't going to be doing full water builds, which is awesome. And you would think so. You would think that they would, but they're not. If you were to get full water control, you could pretty much boom behind it. But these guys aren't doing that. And right now, we're going to have to toggle over to Juan and see what he can see. And he is totally unaware at this point that there are villagers on his side of the map. However, he does have a scout. He may catch it out, but towers are coming up, and that tower is probably going to get up before he spots it. Over here, though, 2 galleys coming out, and Juan has not yet even hit the feudal age. So a couple of these fishing ships are going to go down, which is a huge loss right now, and Stark is holding the score lead for now, and for good reason. I mean, his build just seems to be so much smarter, if you ask me, so much smarter. Fast castle build seems to be on order for Juan. But Juan, he's housed right now. He's getting out his market and his blacksmith. We'll see what happens. Now, looking over at Stark, I'm actually starting to worry a little bit because he's going to have to make this feudal age pressure count. You'll see the wall start off on this side from Juan. And Juan seems to be okay with losing these fishing ships right now and just walling off. This tower rush is not going to get around. He's going to have to go through the TC on this side, and he's going to have to go through these walls on this side. And Stark is very far away from hitting the castle age. Meanwhile, clicking up now is Juan, and he's going to be able to get a castle out. He's sending everything over to stone he has just to be able to make some conchs. So, as much as Stark has that score lead right now, he really needs to take advantage of it, and he's not doing that. He's really not doing that. It was a poor move for him, in my opinion, to go towers. I mean, these towers denied a couple farms, but why not go scouts? Why not go archers? It's really just been a disappointing move. He's going to probably put a tower there as well, just to deny some wood, but Juan's not on wood there. And you could put towers there all day if you're Stark, and it's not going to do anything. And keep in mind, 125 stone for each of these towers, so that's going to be 375 stone that is wasted. That's going to delay castles for Stark if he wants to get conchs out of his own. Of course, when I say conchs, I'm saying conquistadors. We're going to speed things up a little bit here and see what happens. Villagers going to come in here. Spanish villagers don't have any attack bonus yet. They're not in the Imperial age, but that would be pretty cool to see in this game. Doubt we will see it, though. And this forward seems to have pretty much been a waste at this current time. He has, however, opened up this wall. Villagers coming around, building more towers, denying some farmland. And conquistadors, they're not going to be able to deal with these towers, really. So he puts up enough of them, it's going to be a nuisance. But, you know, I feel like Juan's going to be able to just stream some conquistadors into the base of Stark. if Stark doesn't stonewall this up. And Stark probably doesn't foresee the fact that Juan is fast castled this. And of course, he's just walling his way around is Juan right now. And tower coming up for Stark, that's a good placement on it. And actually it's an outpost, and that means this TC is going to be able to be in range of any towers that do come up on this side of the map. And villagers now going to need to wall this up quickly before some conks come out. And we'll see what happens. We have Stark, or Juan rather, actually on very little stone. There we go. There's the castle. And I actually thought that was a TC. That's my apologies there. It's just like my assumption that the TC would be coming out. But it's not. It's not a TC. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets a fire ship out here shortly. There's the fire ship. Fire ship's going to come around and do a great job against these galleys here. And double wall coming up from Stark right now. And these conks, they're going to do a good job. Now the thing is, if you're going 1 TC pressure, soon to be 2 TC, you're going to have to really have a stable food income to do conks and your TC. He's going to need some more farms, he's going to need some more fishing ships, or his TCs are going to be idle. In fact, just his TCs are running right now, conks aren't being produced. So he is actually getting a ram out to take some of these towers down, which is important. I mean, this villager just not being watched. There we go from Juan. Well done. That villager's actually just being saved for the time being. But villagers just continue to be spawned here, but he's running out of food. He really has no food to continue his production. So Stark isn't in a bad spot. If Stark can get up, which he is getting up here, and get his own castle out, or at least maybe go monks to get a couple conversions, he's not in a bad spot. He's really not, because he has enough food to continue production once he hits the castle age. He does have some fishing ships back here, which are going to be taken down, it looks like, by a fire ship if he doesn't move them out of here. But it looks like Stark will be able to continue production. Meanwhile, we're having a hard time keeping his TCs active over here from Stark, or Juan rather. But fishing ships just being avoided by Juan, which is really surprising. He doesn't seem to be going for the fishing ships, which are really important to the food production of Stark. And like I said, I'm very surprised. And of course Stark mills the deer. When I said that pros don't do that, of course he mills the deer. You know, it just happens. It happens a lot. I've realized that these guys will just totally make you eat your words. Villager possibly going to go down there to that tower if she doesn't get inside the TC, and she goes down. Tower doing a good job there, it looks like. And, well, Juan, what are you going to do now? Are you making conks? You're not making conks. Looks like he's just going to boom up behind his stone walls, which I think is not a bad idea. He is kind of walled to the point where, I mean, he hasn't walled this off, which could be a crucial mistake. He is kind of walled to the point where any pressure would come right into his TCs. So he should be okay at this point in time. I'm not agreeing, however, with getting 3 TCs up. If you can't keep food production up out of 2 TCs, why are you making a third one and wasting the resources on that? It doesn't make much sense to me. I'm not sure why we're seeing that. So we're going to see, meanwhile, what Stark is doing. He's getting wheelbarrow right now, and unfortunately for him, it doesn't look like he has enough for a second TC. He does have a ton of food and gold, so we might be able to see conks from him shortly if he gets that castle out. And his castle is going to come shortly as well. So, tower's being taken down though. Ram getting to the base of the tower, which is what it needed to do. No villagers, nothing really going to be taken out here, it looks like, from this remaining tower. And castle on the front going to go up from Juan. Idle TC or Stark. Man, I'm getting Juan and Stark confused because Juan, his colors were not the same this entire series, so I apologize. But looking at the resources right now of Stark though, he's idling his TC. It looks as though he might be holding out for the Imperial Age, and he just sold some, or bought some food, and he might sell a little bit of wood here. Let's see what happens. Is he gonna click? Is he gonna click? He clicked up to the Imperial Age. Okay, so that's interesting to see here because we have contrasting styles in economy now. We have fishing ships still alive for Stark, so that's good. He has no farms, so those fishing ships are gonna need to stay alive. But what's he gonna do? Get a Treb out? Like, he's not gonna. If you have one TC, you have very little economy to push anything, any type of pressure. So if that's the case, what is he gonna do? And he only has 43 population. I feel like all of those resources he could have pushed into conquistadors and done pressure in the Imperial Age or Castle Age. Juan, meanwhile, he has a flowing economy. He is just booming up. And what do you do with Imperial Spanish? You normally go elite conks, and he's not going to have enough to go elite conks. He's not going to have enough to go cavalier. He's probably not even going to have enough to go halberdier. So I feel like the Imperial upgrade wasted right now from Stark. And Juan, he's probably laughing his butt off that he has fast imped this. If he sees the Imperial Age upgrade, Juan's probably going to get a little smirk on his face because it's been a complete waste. He has enough for a second castle right now, so he can outproduce him in conks. And Juan, he's in a good spot. He really is in a good spot. He's just booming up here, and he's doing a good job. Now, Juan has yet to wall up this side, which I think would be important at this point in the game. He may be, being stopped from these galleys. Any villager that's coming over here may be obstructed from doing so just because these galleys are here, and plus a wolf involved as well, but of course you can't see that. But Juan's just booming up. He can make more conks if he has to, and here comes another transport, guys. We're loving the transports this game, and I love that. I love a map that allows for the transports. On Team Islands and things, it's very unlikely you'll see a transport. So what he's going to do is send a couple of conks across to try and do some damage. And meanwhile, Stark, saying what I did say, he does have enough food here to make some conks. He could get some upgrades in on these guys possibly, and he could get a Treb out. And the Treb's already on its way out. So if he could transport a Treb across, a couple conks, and actually keep that Treb alive and defended, get a castle down, that's going to be huge. But the thing is that at this point, Juan has the better eco. He can produce a ton more. And I'm interested to see what we do with this trebuchet. Hopefully for Stark, it'll be sent across with some conks. Otherwise, if it's sent across unguarded, this Maganel could take it out, a couple conks could take it out, even a couple villagers could take it out in time from Juan. So here we have some units running right by each other, but luckily we have the patrol in from Stark, and it looks like that transport from Juan is going to be wasted. He will get a villager pick or two because the 16 base attack from a conquistador is just so strong, and he's going to be able to just run all over this map and create havoc before these units die. And that's what he looks like he's going to do. He's going to scout around and see what's going on. He knows that Stark is Imperial, and we're going to take a look real quick at Juan at home. He's getting to the point where he can get Imperial. He can also put up 2 more castles. And just imagine the production. Imagine the production if that happens. But here's the Treb over here from Stark. These units are eventually going to go down. He's actually taking off 12 HP from a house. I'm not sure what that was about from Juan. He might just be giving up the ghost with those units. But Juan's getting close to going up, and he has the resources to get up soon. He's getting up a second castle somewhere. It has to be somewhere because his stone just disappeared unless he sold all of it. Not seeing that second castle, so he must have sold it for gold income. And at this point, that's really interesting. He has enough for 2 castles. He doesn't need 3. I don't think he's going to be able to produce that many conks anyway. And we're going to see what happens. We have a couple Trebs out here from Stark. And of course, these 2 conks are still going to stay alive just to do some harassment later on. And Stark, well, he's still on 1 TC. When you commit to the 1 TC, you have to commit to it. You have to produce the most potent combination you can, and that's what he's going to do. And here's the thing, Stark has to do any damage he can now. If he doesn't do it now, you know, we're going to have Juan in the Imperial Age with a much bigger economy. And he seems to realize that. Fire ship coming in, though, possibly going to spot out that transport ship. And it goes down, luckily for Stark. We will have Villager possibly being sent across, too. Not sure what the Villager's being there. Possibly building another dock. We'll see. But monks coming out from Juan. If you didn't realize that we have Juan over here building what I believe are monks, and he has a couple of them now. And the brilliant move, the reason that's a brilliant move is because we already established that Stark is going to have few units on the map, so he's not going to be able to run in and risk a couple conversions. If he loses a couple units and gets a couple units converted, you know, that's going to be a huge loss for him. That could possibly turn it around for Juan. And so that's a good move from Juan. However, Juan at this point is losing his monasteries. They were kind of in a forward position. These trebuchets doing a good job. The Spanish have amazing monks right now. So, well, not right now. They always do. So at this current time, going for the monasteries is a good move for both of these guys. However, Sanctity is being researched right now. If you don't know what Sanctity is, I'll read it for you real quick. Where are you, Sanctity? Sanctity, they have 50% more hit points. I want to make sure that was the hit points one. So that's good. They have some extra HP. Also, it's going to be really worth it to get that conversion range, to be able to outrange these conks. But at this point, I'm really interested to see that more conks aren't being created. We're prioritizing some monks from Juan, and it's kind of a close game. And reason it's become a close game, this fast imp has brought Trebs over from Stark, and Stark could start taking out this castle right now. But does Stark know it's there? I'm not sure what Stark sees. He knows it's there, but he hasn't targeted it just yet. He's getting all the monk researches at this current time. He doesn't even need to transport. He can just walk right across. And he's getting atonement and block printing. He's going to have that range that he needs. And the Imperial upgrade comes in for Juan. Now is when the move needs to be made by Stark. We have the monks out for Stark. In fact, they're out for Juan, excuse me. I mean, I'm forever confusing these guys in this game. I apologize. But anyway, it looks like this castle will go down. There's nothing that Juan can do about it. So the monk route seems to be the only route that he can go. Does he have the gold to keep it up? Does he have what he needs to keep it up? He's going to have to make these monks count, because he doesn't have the trebuchet production he needs. In fact, there's 2 queued up here. I don't even know. It'll just get out. Wow. One of them is just going to get out of there, but the second one's not going to be able to get out of there. He's going to have to queue it up in that second castle. Might want to build a second castle in the back, but those monks are going to have to keep coming out. He's going to want another monastery. If he's going to want to go monks, he can't do conquistadors because he needs these counter trebs. And just looking at the military right now, just looking at the monks that Stark has, just looking at the military in total, it looks like Stark, and he does have the 10 military lead, which is huge. Juan has 50 more villagers, but he has nothing that can really defend right now. And that villager count could switch around real quick with this amount of monks and conks out. So Juan needs to produce. He's pop capped right now. He's building houses. He's not making any units. He's getting conscription. He's really, really lucky right now that Stark isn't pushing in. And Stark is really, really behind right now. And here comes this range. Just look at this range, guys, on these monks. Just look at this. It is quite insane. They're going to be able to pull in some conversions on the monks of Juan, which did convert one, and it went down to the castle. And these trebs can go down from these conks if he focuses them down. And we have the Treb Wars coming in. These Trebs actually focusing down a monastery, which is important. You you will realize that both of these guys are going heavily into monks, so monasteries are going to be expensive to rebuild. And it's just a standoff here in the middle, but we still have no production of units right now from Juan. We still have very little, and it's very surprising. Very surprising. He has very little production. This is un-Juan-like, and he's not building anything in the back. He has idle villagers all over the map right now, and he can try and repair this trebuchet, but repairing the trebuchet right behind it is Stark. So the 1TC move has worked out quite well. These conks are going to pick off the villagers, repairing the trebuchet, and like I said, this could turn around pretty quick if these conks do some damage. Currently, they are doing some damage. We'll see what researches Juan has. I don't know if he can convert the units of the monks of Stark, but another monk being converted by Stark, going down to the castle then. And Stark is really turning this one around, I feel. He's really making some crucial moves. And only trebuchets being created right now from Juan. I'm not sure what he's doing. Meanwhile, Stark, he's creating some more conquistadors. He's creating some more monks. Stark is really playing well right now. And for being down 2-1, he needs to play well. He needs to make a move. He now needs to move on to these castles. However, these trebuchets are really strong, really. I mean, these trebuchets are actually going to be able to pick off some monks, some conquistadors, and these trebuchets as well. So that's why these castles are really should be the focus right now from Stark. They're not, though, and we'll see what these trebuchets can do from Juan. I'm really interested. He's gone 6 trebuchets. Trebuchet hype from Juan right now, and 3 of them going to make a hit, and the little bug right there that makes it look like it's still alive, taking it down, though, and wow. I'm just so surprised. Juan seems to think that these trebuchets are going to win him the game. He's only going trebuchets right now. He's going 8 trebuchets and skirmishers on the side, which I actually missed out on. Skirmishers, he can... The thing is when you convert a unit with a monk, it takes some time to generate its conversionness. It's faith. There we go. And so going skirms is huge, because if you convert a skirmisher, then you can focus down the monk with the other skirmishers once you lose one to a conversion. So skirmishers are actually one of the best counters to monks, and also they're a darn good counter to the conquistadors. So now at this point is when Stark should be thinking about putting some knights in there to go for the elite skirmishers, but that's so expensive, and he's still on 1TC that, you know, it's such an expensive move, he can't make the move. And now is when we have 8 trebuchets in from Juan, and soon to be 9, and what is he gonna do? Like, what is Stark gonna be able to do against this amount of skirmishers with +3? I don't know. Convert the trebuchets? I don't know. There goes one monk, here goes another monk, and there goes the next one after it. I mean, he loses these monasteries. I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything here. The trebuchets, the fact that he's going only trebuchets and skirms just shows how brilliant he is. Juan, I didn't even see over here that these skirms are being created. Caught me out as much as it caught Stark out. And we have how many trebuchets being created at this point? He can continue to make more, really, but he only has 9. Only has 9. But he's just going to put these trebuchets up and try and target some units. I believe he was trying to target down that Mangonel. Mangonel is actually going to be good against his skirmishers there. So, and of course the Mangonels are the trebuchets as well, so he wanted to make sure that didn't happen. But he's going to be able to focus down these monasteries. He possibly will lose these ranges, which would not be good. But if he does take out these monasteries, that's going to be a huge deal. And see what happens here. It'll be really important right now to take out these monasteries. He has enough trebuchets that he could do that. He has enough for a castle as well. Only 1 trebuchet right now left from Stark. And Stark it's really not looking good for him right now. It's really not looking good. I haven't seen a counter yet to these skirmishers and these trebuchets, and that is a lot of trebuchets. That is a heck of a lot of trebuchets, and the castle going up over here. Stark has to be aware at this point that that's happening. And if you see that many trebuchets, just to point, like, this is his line of sight right now. This is Stark's line of sight, and he can see 10 trebuchets just focusing down his buildings, and he would just lose them in a heartbeat. And it's quite insane, really. It is quite insane. Castle's gonna cover for that, and wow, that is incredible. Line of sight's gonna go away once these buildings go down, and they're gonna go down. They're just gonna melt like butter to those trebs. And there goes the Cavalier upgrade. I was waiting for it, but it's an expensive upgrade. Are we seeing any defense upgrades come in? I don't know. I don't know if we'll see that, because the defense upgrade, well, that's going to be huge cost compared to what he has. But he is getting the second defense upgrade, but he's not going to be able to get many knights out. He just has his first one coming up now. It was a good move, I feel, but he doesn't have the TC production to be able to keep up, you know, with the production. Knights are the only thing I'm seeing right now that can pull this. Cavalier, the only thing I'm seeing right now that could pull this. But Juan, he could just go a couple monks himself and start turning this around. So we'll see. We have enough conks right now that could still do some damage, but it's going to be pretty risky. We have Juan making some monks. Monks, as you know, are very overpowered from the Spanish. It is the most annoying thing to go up against monks. And at this point, with the lack of wood Stark has, he can't make his own monks. He doesn't even have a monastery up at this point. So it's really going to be hard for him with one trebuchet versus 10 to do anything. And villager-wise at this point, just comparing the two, we still have a 40 villager deficit for Stark. And in come the skirmishers versus these conks, and in come the trebuchets. And I'm interested to see what the trebuchets will be able to do, these skirmishers will be able to do versus these mangonels here. We have a cavalier coming out, probably gonna meet a monk in there, and there it goes. Look how fast that was converted. These trebuchets gonna take a while to go down to conks for sure, and this looks like the push for Stark. This is all or nothing for him right now, but it's gonna be a whole lot of nothing if he continues pushing in. These trebs are able to rain down, and how many hits can we get with the wow, beautifully done. 2 monks going down, skirms behind the trebuchets, just raining down upon these conks, and well, Stark, doesn't look good for you right now. You seem to be creating monks from somewhere. You seem to be getting monks from somewhere. I'm not sure if he's creating if he's converting monks or what, but he's now 2k behind in his score. He doesn't have the food. He's not creating any counter trebuchets, and at this point, you know, it's not looking good. You know, with the lead that Juan has, it's just not looking good. And Juan just has to push now. Juan just has to make a push with this and get him off his base and push him back. But we do have a couple cavalier coming out. But monks are going to keep the skirmishers safe. Monks not pushing in though, which is surprising. And these monks need to come out here and take care of these cavalier. But regardless, I think Stark knew it was over, and that was a good game. I was glad I could get some WSVG action for you guys. And so anyway, well done guys. It was a good game, and thanks for watching once again, T90XVI.